And our next presentation is Critical Pivot, Shifting from In-Person to Online Promotions by Kari Chrenka and Lisa Wilczak. Kari Chrenka has been coordinator of marketing and branding at Central Michigan University Libraries for 9 years. She serves as co-chair of the library's marketing committee, which is an advisory committee for the library's marketing, promotion, and social media efforts. She also is co-chair of the library's user experience committee and is responsible for conducting monthly usability testing sessions. Kari has a Bachelor of Science in Graphic Design and a Master of Science degree in Administration. During her appointment at CMU Libraries, her work has been awarded 7 public relations and marketing awards from the Library Leadership and Management Association, a division of the American Library Association. Lisa Wilczak has worked in library collection development at Central Michigan University Libraries for 6 years. She serves as a member of the library's User Experience Committee and as co-chair of the library's Marketing Committee, which is an advisory group for the library's marketing, promotion, and social media efforts. She also manages the University Library's social media and is responsible for strategy, content, and reporting. Prior to working at the libraries, Lisa worked at CMU Research Corporation writing grants, business plans, and marketing plans for startup companies with emerging technologies. Lisa has a Bachelor of Science in Music and a Master of Science in Administration. All right, Kari and Lisa, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to get the presentation up on the screen here. And let's see. There we go. Nothing is happening. Just a moment. Why is this? Hopefully this works. There we go. Lisa, can you hear me? I think you're muted. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that little transition period of us getting our presentation ready, and we will get going here. We are going to be presenting our presentation, Critical Pivot, Shifting from In-Person to Online Promotions. And if you can't see our videos up on the screen, I'm Kari Chrenka, Coordinator of Marketing and Branding at the libraries. And
I'm Lisa Wilczak. I work with collection development and marketing that collection with Kari. Okay, so here's the roadmap of the journey we're taking you on today. It begins with why we are sharing our story and what we originally inspired us to move in the directions that led to our critical pivot. Then we venture into the changes we made and the new opportunities that have manifested as a result.
The pandemic has impacted all people and institutions, and we have faced significant challenges and obstacles. But we also have been given an excellent opportunity to critically assess how we do things. Today, we will explore a critical pivot we made that positively impacted our marketing efforts. And we want to share our case study to perhaps identify small changes that could lead to your critical pivot in the future. This graphic depicts an overview of our origin story. And before we take you step by step, we want to point out that this does not begin with our case study. But in the process of creating this presentation, we realized that it started much earlier than that. In hindsight, we can see that we were assembling our tool belt to make a critical pivot long before we knew it was even needed. Back in 2019, we went on a listening tour and met with many collaborators from the university's admissions and orientation departments. Our library not only offers many library resources and services, but our large building is also home to numerous other entities that offer non-library academic support services. In talking with the many groups across campus, we noticed one common thing. Despite our ongoing marketing and promotional efforts, colleagues across campus didn't fully understand what the library does. And as you can imagine, this impacts the information they share with students and therefore impacting how the students view the library's resources and services. Everyone we met with seemed to become excited during our conversations as common misconceptions and assumptions about the library building and our services were clarified. However, we noticed that everyone provided the same feedback. They wanted messaging that was easy to share with students. They wanted a simple, clear message and one that has a linear or stepped approach. That feedback always stayed with Lisa and I, but at the time we didn't feel that we could execute a solution properly. Our challenge lies in the complexity of our services and resources, as many of you may know, and the range of experience that our patrons have with conducting research. And our website has become an encyclopedia of information that proves to be a challenge to navigate without proper instruction.
Then the pandemic hit. Kari and I remember being in a virtual marketing committee meeting, and we were wondering what we were going to do. We all felt initially kind of lost and stuck, and we found ourselves being reactionary, fielding the daily pandemic twists and turns. But over time, we steadied ourselves, and we were able to gradually adapt our marketing efforts to this new space, which forced us to think creatively. All of our work became virtual. We began to explore new opportunities and available tools. About a year ago, CMU became an Adobe Creative Campus, and our committee began exploring the Adobe applications. Adobe Express, formerly known as Adobe Spark, quickly grabbed our attention. It was easy to use and allowed us to compile content into a quick and easy online presentation. So we decided to give Adobe Express a go by revisiting the new student orientation PowerPoint presentation and voiceover video that we made in 2019 called Explore the Library. We transformed that content into an Adobe Express presentation and quickly noticed that the tool helped us to package up the information, making it easy to follow, more linear, and focused. So now we'll show you quickly what that Explore the Library presentation looked like. And it looks like a web page, but with no toolbar. And this forces the user to scroll down the page where we offer a step-by-step introduction to the library services. Each service has a button that we added, which takes the user straight to the service on our website. With this tool, the user chooses their own path and they interact with the presentation in their own way. Also, this works really well on devices and it is easy to share. There we go. And so once we created that, we immediately shared the presentation with the groups that we met with back in 2019. And their immediate feedback was, wow, this is exactly what they needed from the library. It had a simple, clear, and linear message. It taught the people who would be advising the students, making them feel more confident about the information they would be sharing. So to sum up the success we had with the Explore the Library messaging, it was easy to follow and share. It helped us to package the information, and it put it all into one place. It was interactive and self-guided. And lastly, it generated excitement from our colleagues across campus. They were eager to share this message for us, and that made us excited. So now we share with you the project that brought us here today, our Knowledge Central Open House. Here you see a picture I took of Kari, slightly against her will, welcoming our guests to the event. By the way, she is the talent behind all of our images and material. So the Knowledge Central Open House was an in-person event that we held every fall. The event's objective was to inform students about the library services and the services of academic partners located within our building, as well as a few collaborative partners across campus. We anticipated holding the event in the years to come because it helped us to build relationships with our colleagues and with students, and it also provided a new way for us to promote our services. However, after the pandemic, we faced a new roadblock of safety rules that prohibited large gatherings. And here are some pictures from the event. The event included a resource fair structure, relationship buildings with our partners. Food and drink giveaways were at the tables for the students. We had stamp cards, which were given out at the welcome table, and the students could get a stamp at each table and then enter it into a raffle to win prizes. We also had therapy dogs, which is my favorite, and the students seem to love them. Also, we live tweeted the event. Here is a list of our collaborators. The maroon indicates the tables we had set up for the libraries. The black indicates academic support services within the library building. And the blue are other collaborating partners that were nearby, but not in the building.
The challenges of holding an in-person Knowledge Central event included that it was usually a fall event, and we typically needed 3 months to plan in advance. This also included various meetings and emails, of course. There was an ongoing event coordination with collaborators and vendors. A budget was needed for giveaways, snacks, and the drinks that were provided. And we had about 100 people on the average attend each event. And we, of course, weren't able to hold it in 2020 because it was canceled due to the pandemic. In 2021, we felt we had the bandwidth to conduct an assessment to see if the objectives of the Knowledge Central idea could pivot to a virtual format. We set out to maintain key goals, which included that we wanted to provide information that is important to students about the various academic support centers in the library. They were still opening and functioning, and people needed to know that their services were still available. We wanted to continue building relationships with our building partners and across campus collaborators, and we wanted to increase the amount of people we reach, so that would be greater than the 100 people that were in attendance in the in-person event. So this got us thinking, did this need to be a live event, even if it was virtual or in person? No. Was there another way that we could get the same information out or nurture relationships and increase the amount of people we reach? Possibly. Sorry, my cat just totally bombed my computer. And so we had to think, how can we do that? What tools do we have? What do we have available to us? So we drafted a plan. We assessed the available tools and found inspiration from the previous Explore the Libraries campaign that we worked on, that we just showed you. We collaborated with our building partners to gather uniform information about their various areas and services. And we once again utilized Adobe Express to create an interactive and self-guided presentation that could be shared. And let me pop in again here. So like the Explore the Library campaign, we structured the Knowledge Central presentation to take viewers on a self-guided journey to the various service areas. Since we had more content, we incorporated a navigation that allows the viewer to quickly and easily get to the section they want to see. And they can easily navigate back to the table of contents by using the back to top button that pops up here. And as stated before, we worked with each area to gather uniform information. And this included an image about their space and, location information, a description, calls to action, and direct links back to their website. So I'll just continue scrolling just to kind of show the different areas here. And then I will migrate back to our presentation. So we had built our presentation, we had our collaborators and partners on board, and it was time to disseminate the information. We planned a 2-week dynamic push so audiences had the potential to see this information in many places. And in addition, we, the library, continued to promote the presentation throughout the end of the semester.
So during that 2-week push, the libraries, along with our collaborators, took to social media. We created a general image of the event that collaborators could share and promote on their own, along with the link to the Express presentation. We also created feature component images that were showcased on social media to focus on each individual collaborator and their services. That is what you're looking at right now. In addition, we dedicated 1 day to each entity, pushing posts that provided information that they asked us to share while tagging the appropriate groups for each day. And lastly, We encourage building partners to engage with the Knowledge Central content on social media, to share it personally or via their department's social media feed.
We encouraged our collaborators to share the Knowledge Central information in newsletters, presentations, direct emails, or any other information they send to their contacts. And the library shared the information on our website. We submitted it to the student e-newsletter, and of course, in direct emails that we send out. And we continued, like I said, to promote the presentation throughout the end of the semester. And that decision was independent of the campaign, the campaign plan. The library just did that. Everybody could do it in their own timeline if they wanted to, but stay within that 2 weeks that we were talking about.
One of the great features of the Express presentation is that we can gather usage stats from it. Our online Knowledge Central event had over 1,000 unique views. Compared that to our 100 or so students that attended the in-person event, we can say that our online event had 10 times the reach. As far as social media goes, our average Twitter engagement at that time was 1.8%. Our top tweet from Knowledge Central had an engagement rate of 8.3% with 1,063 impressions and 88 engagements. This is a lot for the library. As an example, we are pleased when we get a tweet with only 2 engagements. We witnessed the power of word of mouth and the value of empowering our collaborators not only to self-promote, but to promote for others as well. And this reciprocal collaboration has led us to additional projects. We have used a similar marketing formula for these projects and have had comparable success. A few challenges and next steps for us to think about. Our goal was to reach more people, and we succeeded. However, we need future assessment to see if the services in each department were actually impacted. We found explaining our marketing approach using the Express tool to our colleagues very challenging. Until we bring a visual aid into the situation, it was very hard to show how this works and how it can transform their content. Currently, we see a use for this formula for most of the things we do, and we wonder if it's hindering our ideas or innovative thoughts as we move forward. And lastly, we see how this format can help people interact with our website and inform different audience groups.
Lisa and I have found that the struggle is indeed real surrounding the use of the Adobe Express pages that we've created, and we talk about this all the time. And we wonder, why doesn't the Adobe Express pages work like a web page? Because our initial thought was, oh, we could create another web page in our website. And, you know, when we got that initial feedback, but it wasn't working properly. And we have found that somehow this tool is more engaging, you know, and it has a wow factor to it that people seem to want to interact with. And it works, as Lisa said, very well on multiple devices. The information that you can put into it is succinct and focused. And Lisa and I have found that our brains need to look at information in a new way to see it as exciting and fresh. And so people actually see it. And, you know, we are stuck in the concept of websites. We use it as a crutch for everything now. And we have been using them for so long that we have different expectations with them.
So some key takeaways from our journey. Our experimentation and assessment are key. We need people no matter how virtual the world gets. When we listen and respond to feedback, we can create something that others can support and get excited about. Also, word of mouth marketing is still relevant and it helps information go further. So this whole time during our presentation, we have been referring to our formula, and we wanted to show you what that looks like. It basically includes standard principles, and we find ourselves following these closely with our current projects. That brings us to the end of our journey that we've prepared for you. We will be sending a PDF of our presentation in so it can be shared. And are there any questions?
Thank you very much for that. That was fantastic. We do have a question in the Q&A, and I encourage anyone else with questions to throw them in the Q&A as well. Well, looks like we have two now. So the first one is, curious if you had a chance to work with faculty teaching undergraduates on what content in the presentation would help their students in finding what they need for classwork and library-related research.
Lisa, do you want to take that, or?
Yes, I'll take that.
Okay.
We have not. However, that is kind of a next step that we have been thinking of, and we have actually talked to some librarians about that. And the thing of it is here we have librarians assigned to specific subject areas or departments on campus, and the things that they need are different depending on that area of study. So we would literally have to make different ones for everybody, and we definitely would like to do that. We just haven't reached that stage yet.
We are dabbling in that direction, though. Lisa and I just collaborated with a librarian that was assisting for a new venture competition that's happening on our campus, and she is taking over a new subject area and was diving into her LibGuides, and we needed to package up some materials for that group of students. So it wasn't necessarily for the classroom yet, but we were, again, we've been finding it hard for our colleagues to understand how the Adobe Express, tool breaks down the information. And we had her submit content for this Adobe Express page that we made, and it was, in a LibGuide structure. And, we worked with her to sift it out, to really get it to be fast and concise, and to really pinpoint the tools, and then send people off into the greater, to do a greater deep dive into their content. And she, once she understood that, she was just like, whoa, this is so cool. So I think, we are, dipping our toe into moving in that direction. But as Lisa said, that would be a huge undertaking, and bringing a lot of people on board, with this kind of mindset of breaking down our information.
And that concisement, that with that information being fast and available, is so important to students, younger undergrad students, especially right now. They just want to find something and get it. They don't want any other distraction. They just want that one thing. And we find this helps with that.
All right, we have a few more questions in the Q&A. One is, were the documents that you created in Adobe Express accessible? If so, was it difficult to create accessible content using Adobe Express?
Yes. With Adobe Express, the presentations they're a link that you just can create and share. You can then, it lives in the cloud. I created them, so then I can share them with like Lisa per se. If I were ever to leave my position, or like my account would be shut down, others would have access to it and they could carry it on. The wonderful thing about it too is that once the link is shared, that link stays that link. And so I could go in and completely change change all of the content in there. And it would remain the same link. So that's also proven to be wonderful. We made flyers the other day and posted a QR code and the link to it, and we were able to keep editing it after the fact, and it stayed the same. The other content, images and things like that, we did share them. We packaged up a graphics package and sent them to the different collaborators, just in the event that they did want to post it in a PowerPoint presentation that they were giving, or something that wasn't, being readily shared with contacts. And we also have a direct mail system that we made a templated email and sent it to all the collaborators and encouraged them to pass that on. So, we didn't make stuff that was editable for people. We packaged it up and gave them everything that they needed.
All right, thank you. Is the Knowledge Central website still available to the public?
It is. We just went through a huge website upgrade, and all of the links aren't necessarily live, and we haven't been sharing it because the semester came to an end. So we will be updating that and promoting that again this semester. We usually do it around midterms. And so once that is updated, and I can share the link in the materials that we share for this presentation, and we can get those updated, and the Explore the Library campaign, that is completely updated, and we will share that with you as well.
Great. Yeah, and we'll be sharing all the all the presentations from today on SUNYLA.org. So we'll be sure to include that if you include it. There is a clarification for the previous question I saw come in. Apologies for not being clear. I meant accessible for those who may have disabilities.
Oh, I am not completely sure on that. That is completely leaning on, Adobe to make the accessibility, components of that. I do know that with screen readers and things, it is based off of text that is placed in, the tools. And so when the text is put in there, that is live text, and the text that might appear on images, it is either listed again, or in Adobe Express, there is not alternative text that you can put in for the various images. So that is an accessibility issue. So you do have to watch for that. But we do primarily try to leave the text live so it can be read with screen readers. But you're bringing up a very good point in terms of, the use of imagery and things inside of the presentation.
All right, thank you. Next question is, how much time do you think this took to put together?
Yeah, I would say it, we talked about the time frame of building the greater, like in-person event. And this was an email blast to the collaborators. It was setting up a template of the type of information I wanted from them. I received an email back with the complete information. I was able to pop it in, their images and everything, and send it back out for review. And so, the email portion of it wasn't, a gain in terms of time and things like that, as I discussed, but I would say a week, and it was very fast. And, we were able to go back and make iterative changes if there was an edit or something like that. But it came together very quickly. The edits that I'm talking about to fix the links, that is very quick. There's a lot of links in there. That'd be the only time, that would take up for me to update it. But it is a very quick tool to use and update. And Lisa and I, we crank these out with different projects now, and people think, oh, you need all this time to do this. And it's, if you have your content, if you have your images, I can make it in a day. It's not that difficult.
All right, thank you. We're running a little low on time. We have about a minute before we're scheduled to break. So we'll probably only get to one more question here, but there are several more in the Q&A, and we're going to make sure to forward them all to you folks if you don't mind, and then you can give us those answers and we'll share them out with all conference attendees after today. So I guess the last one for now is there an assessment tool in Adobe Express?
In terms of analytics, and I hope that's what you're talking about, we can see the amount of views. And that is, there's not anything that helps you dive any deeper, but we have learned to kind of measure our efforts and then the return on those efforts in those views. And so, like I said, we use the direct mail tool, and we are able to see, how many people in a certain group are clicking on things, what they're clicking on, what they're interacting with. So we've been trying to leverage other tools to help measure, the impact of all of this. And so through Adobe, there's just the views, and you can kind of measure and use other things to help add to it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. It was really interesting about Adobe Express. I think a lot of us learned a lot, and we have a lot more questions in the Q&A. So we'll definitely forward them on and share the rest of those answers. So thanks again. And with that, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and we will be back at 11:15 for our next presentation.